Have you ever been in a season where on the outside everything looked fine? Work is steady, life is manageable, and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. But underneath it, you felt dry, disconnected, not burnt out, but something worse, numb. And if the season I'm describing just so happens to be the season that you're currently in, I want to pose this question to you. What dream have you buried? See, because I've been there. I've had dreams that I've stopped talking about, even to myself. Put it on the shelf and quietly told myself it's not the right time, or even worse, that it probably wouldn't matter in the first place. But the thing about dreams is, although you try to push it down, although you try to ignore it, the dream inside never stops whispering. It's a low hum of frustration, a low hum of fatigue and disconnection. That, my friend, is called deferred hope. So if there's a dream that you've been carrying quietly, a vision you've been called to, but you've buried it under responsibility, fear, or logic, if there is something inside of you that you're not going after, not because you don't care, but because you're scared, I've made this video for you. The thing that no one tells us is the simple fact that there's a cost either way. There's a cost to chasing your dream, but there's also a cost to ignoring it entirely. And if you've been feeling tired, low, unmotivated, maybe even disconnected from yourself, I want to suggest this to you. Maybe it's not laziness. Maybe it's not burnout. Maybe it's a deeper ache. Your heart is sick because your soul knows that you were built for more. There's a proverb that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. This isn't just a poetic phrase. It's a blueprint of what happens to us internally when we delay the very things that we were designed to pursue. When we ignore the dreams planted inside of us, they don't disappear. They turn inward. They become frustration, anxiety, a quiet ache. And we start to feel like we're going through the motions in life, completely disconnected from all joy, all purpose, and all passion. And the reason for this is we weren't created just to exist, we were created to express. You were wired for a purpose. And when that expression gets blocked, when purpose is postponed, your entire being starts to feel it. Modern science backs this up. Studies show that repressed creativity and unexpressed purpose can lead to symptoms of depression, anxiety, fatigue, even physical illness. We are a living system. We're designed for movement, for meaning, and for mission. So when you don't pursue the things that your heart longs for, your mind, body, and spirit respond with one question. The body says to the mind, hey, mind, why are we still waiting? The spirit says to the body, hey, y'all good? You know we've got this, right? And the biggest lie we tell ourselves is, I'll get to it later. This is where most of us get stuck. We tell ourselves now is not the right time. Once things calm down, when I have more clarity, you know what? I gotta get my confidence up. When I feel more confident, I'll go for it. But the truth is, delay has a price. And every day you put off your dream, you tell your mind, your body, and your spirit to work together to reinforce the belief that it is not a priority. You train your brain to settle. You begin to normalize playing small, and soon, survival mode becomes the standard. You forget how to thrive. You forget how to dream. I've seen people wait decades to start. And by the time they're ready, the dream is buried so deep that they can barely even hear it anymore. And I want to say this clearly. Postponed purpose poisons potential. The longer you wait, the heavier it becomes to carry. Because dreams are active. They don't just sit on the shelf. They can't. They fester. They have to keep moving, so they start moving and forcing themselves into regret. And regret is heavier than any risk you'll ever take. Dreams aren't just goals, they're assignments. And this is something I believe wholeheartedly. I remember the story Steve Harvey tells about when he was a child and he was in school and the teacher said, hey, write down what you want to be when you grow up. So all of the students wrote down what they wanted to be when they were full-grown adults. So some kids wrote, I want to be a fireman. Another kid wrote, I want to be a doctor. Steve Harvey wrote, I want to be on TV. And this dream thief of a teacher called him up to the front of the room and began to rail him for putting that on the paper. Because no one they know, no one from their neighborhood has ever made it to TV. Steve Harvey goes home. The teacher has contacted his mother and said Steve was playing in school. And so his mom said, like some moms do, hey, wait till your daddy get home. Dad gets home and says, hey boy, what were you doing? And Steve said, listen, I don't know why I'm in trouble. She asked me what I want to be when I grow up. And I just wrote it on the paper, I want to be on TV, and I don't see what's wrong with that. Dad takes the paper, looks at his wife as if to say, what else is going on? Because there's nothing wrong with him writing this on the paper. He told Steve Harvey, keep this piece of paper and put it in your drawer, and you can go be whatever you want to be. Now, do you think that it is a coincidence that every single day we see this tall, bald brother in these clean suits? My granddaddy would say he cleaner than the Board of Health. Do you think it's a coincidence that we see him on our TV every single day? No, there's not a dream that is random. Come on now. It's not a cute idea. It's not a side hobby. It's not just about being creative or doing something cool. It's a divine assignment. And so if you feel something on the inside, you feel it for a reason. That book, that nonprofit, that career change, that conversation you keep putting off, that bold next chapter that you're pretending isn't for you. It's not just about what you want to do, but I would submit to you that it's about what you were made to do. And if you don't honor the assignment, if you ignore the message planted on your heart, you might end up building a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Because living out of alignment is the most exhausting kind of hustle. And I said it in the beginning, but there's a cost either way. Choose your pain, because chasing your dream will require something from you. Comfort, certainty, a stretch of your identity, a test in your resilience. But not chasing it costs you peace, joy, a feeling of aliveness, the feeling that only comes from walking in alignment with truth. So let me ask you, which pain are you going to choose? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because playing small doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you stuck. And the longer you stay stuck, the more you start to convince yourself that that's where you belong. But I've made this video to tell you, you were never called to live a muted life. You were never meant to shrink, and the price of ignoring your dream is becoming someone who you were never meant to be. I'm convinced that the number one reason people bury their dreams is fear. Fear of failure, the fear of judgments out there, the fear of looking like a fool, the fear of doing it wrong, the fear of succeeding and then not knowing what's next, because I've never done this before. But here's your mindset shift. Courage doesn't mean the fear goes away. It means you no longer give fear the right to make the decision. Every single time you step into the unknown, it's a little scary. But in the times that you chose courage over fear, you look back and know that you've never once regretted choosing courage. Conversely, you've deeply regretted staying silent. So the next time fear shows up, don't sit with it. When it comes knocking at your door, crack the door open and say, hey, thank you for your concern, but we won't be using you today. The proverb says, hope deferred makes a heart grow sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. And that's not just poetic, it sounds poetic, but that's a picture of what happens when we finally step into our assignment. You come alive, your energy returns, your clarity increases. Courage builds, not because you have arrived, but because you're walking in alignment. And the part we forget is that our dream isn't just for us. It's for the people connected to it, the lives it will change, the healing it will spark, the legacy it will leave. When you follow your dream, you don't just grow, you plant a tree. And others, whether that be your kids, your community, your future self, will find shade, fruit, and nourishment from what you've built. So I end this the way I started. What dream do you have buried? The longer you wait, the harder it gets to hear. But the moment you start digging, something sacred begins to grow. If you enjoyed this video, guess what? It's an intro to a series that I'm releasing on the Dreamchaser. So be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for clarity. Just start. And always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you. And I'll see you on the next one.